All right. This symbol right here is a percent symbol. And that symbol you will notice in everything we do today. Does anybody know what percent means? Sam?
Like 50%, 90%.
Those are great examples. Do you know what it means when something is 50% or 100%? Okay, 50% does mean halfway done, but what about other numbers? Do you know what
90% is
mean?
another percent of will be done.
Okay. Darius? How much is complete?
Like, let's say if the machine says it's 70% full,
That means what?
how much that's left.
How much that's done. How much that's done. Okay. So here's our question. What does the word percent mean? Well, this is a picture of a store. And there's a key that goes with this store. This store is divided into 100 equal parts today. And when we talk about percents, we're talking about out of 100, based out of 100. So this floor plan tells us how much space every single department occupies. And we're going to talk about that as a ratio, and then I'm going to teach you how to write it as a percent as well. So using the key, let's write a ratio of how much is the ratio of checkout to the total store. Checkout to the total store would be, let's write it as a ratio first. 10 to 100. Or we could write it like this, or even better, we can write it as a fraction. So now we can take this and we can turn it into a percent. Cole says it means 10%, and he's right. That red line down there, that's one whole row. Speaking of which, there are 10 rows of 10. So that makes it really easy to figure out on a 100 square grid. Good job. What about, what would be the ratio? First, let's do ratio of children's clothing. Now, we have 2 rows of 5 and 2 rows of 6. Give me the ratio of children's clothing to the whole store. Will?
22%.
No. I'm going to ask you the question one more time. What is the ratio? Think back to what we did yesterday. 22 to 100. Now you can turn that into a percent. 22%. Okay, that means 22 out of 100 spots in this store are used for children's clothing. Start with the ratio. What is the ratio of the toy area to the whole store? We have 2 rows of 3, 2 rows of 4. Dathan? What's the ratio? 14 to 100, which is the same thing as what percent? Pretty easy, right? How about CDs and DVDs? Darius? That's the light green. Let's say it as a ratio first, not out of. 9 to 100, which is what percent? 9%. Now, let me show you how to write 9%. Just like this. It is not this, and it's not this. We could put a 0 in front of it, but it's not necessary. How about, this time I'm only going to ask for the percent of men's clothing. What percent of the store is men's clothing? 5 rows of 4. Brendan, what percent? 20%. Nice work. How about women's clothing? 5 rows of 5. Sky? Five rows of 5. Nope, nope, not necessary, buddy. You don't have to count every dot up there. 5 groups of 5 means what? How much? 5 groups of 5 means 5 times 5. 5 groups of 5. 25 percent. My question was, what percent of the store is women's clothing? 5 groups of 5 means 25, Sky. We don't have to count every individual one. That's not necessary. Not at all. Okay, so every time you're asked for a percent, you have to use this. It's important. And today we're going to really focus a lot on grids of 100, so they're really easy to work with. Who can tell me what is the percent of the shaded part of grid number 1? Aaron? 37%. Okay, 37%. How about the unshaded part? What percent is unshaded? Cole?
73%.
Not 73.
63.
63%. Okay, I'm going to pause for 1 second. Grid number 2. Give me the percent that are shaded in number 2. The percent that are shaded. Kaylin. %. Now what? Hold it. Not 85. That's okay. Seven rows of 10. Yep, that's okay. Now how many are unshaded? How many are unshaded? What's the percent? Natasha? 25. And you all know that 75 plus 25 gives you 100. Now some of these aren't quite as easy, like this one, for instance. What's the percent that's shaded orange? Alexis? I'm so happy you have your glasses on today. Is it still hard to see? 56% are shaded orange. What percent is not shaded orange? America? 44%. You guys rock. Okay. Let's take a look at some questions here. What is 95 out of 100 as a percent? Kaden? It is C. We don't use decimals unless we're talking about less than 1. What is 48 out of 100 as a percent? B, 48%. Which of the following represents the shaded area? The shaded area. Alan? Okay, you've given me 2 answers. Which one do you want to choose? 54%, letter D. Now, if 64% of the 5th graders have pets, how would we write that as a ratio? Aiden? 64 to 100. Could that be simplified? What could we divide both of those by? Eileen, what could we divide both of those by? 2. They're even numbers, right? Does anybody know what half of 64 is in their head? 32. What's half of 100? 32 over 50. We can still simplify, so there's probably a bigger one. Better? Much better. That question didn't ask us to simplify, but it's always good practice. Which of the following represents the shaded area as a percent? Sam?
23% shaded.
Good work. Good work. Okay. All right. I would like for you to open up your iPads to a blank page. And I would like you to open up your textbook to page 398. And to be honest, it's okay if you share one textbook between you and the person you're sitting next to. One textbook between you.